Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA, gateway to the 7 theme lands of the Magic Kingdom. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hello and welcome back to Behind the Dreams, Disney theme park podcast, fan podcast, not official. We also talk some, Disney movie plus whatever is going on in the Disney world. We'll talk about it. With me today, as always going forward right now, is Jack. How are you, Jack?
Very good. It's the weekend. Even though my spring break is over, it still is actually nice in Minnesota. It's 50 degrees.
Oh
Very
wow, it's like
for
almost
up
70 here today. It is beautiful.
Hey, I mean, it's been like 20, 30 degrees recently, so I'll take 50.
Yeah, this whole week was like between 50 to 70 this whole week, so it was really good here in Maryland. We got some news and stuff that we'll be talking about, but before we do, I just want to kind of quickly talk about Disney. Did a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of good stuff to watch on there. My wife and I just watched West Side Story on there, the new Steven Spielberg version. I know, Jack, you've seen West Side Story. You're a newcomer to just the whole West Side Story, right?
Yeah, well, I had to watch it for a class I'm currently taking 2 months ago and really enjoyed the original version. And so when the new one came out, I saw that, and it's like better in every single way.
Yeah, I mean, Spielberg just still has it, man. And so many beautiful shots in that movie that, if you're going to be sentimental for the original, I can understand, I guess, but there's no way you can not look at some of the cinematography and be like, okay, he improved on everything. This is 60 years later, so should be
61. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Should be able to improve on that. But I recommend it for everyone. And if you want to, Rachel Zegler is the lead, Maria, in that. She's going to be in Disney's Snow White. So that's another reason, which I think will come out in 2024 or 2023. They actually just had a fire on their set, by the way.
Oh, wow.
At the Paul's filming for a bit. And she's also going to be in So for people that are interested in DC stuff, check out the podcast we have on the network called Elseworlds, DC fan podcast. Jack was on there talking Peacemaker. We don't recommend you listen to that if you have. I mean, you can listen to our podcast. We don't recommend you watching the show with children.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've also added the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Have been added to Disney Plus. That's how you started getting into Daredevil. Have you finished the show, or?
No, I'm in the middle of season 2. So
okay.
I picked it back up when it came over to Disney Plus. So started season 2 literally the day it released, and halfway through it already. So I'm excited to keep watching it. I've been reading a lot of those comics on him, but still excited to see where that goes going forward.
And I have not watched season 3. So I do want to sit down and rewatch just 1 through 3. It's been a long time since I've seen Daredevil, and I'm very glad that they put it on Disney Plus. We've kind of talked about I need more mature content on there. or just not even more mature content, but just more stuff that'll draw in, like how they added Blackish and Grownish and Wonder Years, stuff like that. That's going to make people realize, oh, it's not just Marvel, Star Wars, or Disney, Pixar. Like we have there's no reason. I think Arrested Development seasons 1 through 3 are going off on Netflix. There's no reason Arrested Development cannot be on Disney Plus.
That would be fantastic if it was.
It would. For me, I'm very glad it's on Disney Plus, because I could not imagine these going on to Hulu, where I have to sit through ads for some of these, because these shows, let's not forget, we're not built for ads at all. Like, these shows were built of, we have Netflix, we're going to make them as long as we can. There's really no perfect breaks where you're like, oh, this is where a commercial would be. Like, there's none of that. So I'm very glad that they wised up and said, let's go ahead and put all of this stuff. And I'm hoping that means we get Logan and we get Deadpool and stuff on here as well. Stop splitting it up. Okay, so let's get into it. We have some. Let's cover the news first, and then we'll go into the. Oh, also, Turning Red has been added to Disney. Well, I'm watching that tomorrow, so I don't have any thoughts to share on that yet. But yes, I'm going to. We'll talk the news first, and then we'll get into the two topics we have today. Are talking our thoughts on Genie Plus and kind of talking about reviews for Star Wars Starcruiser for the Disney Resort. Okay, one that is sad to me, because I liked going here for lunch so often at the Boardwalk. It opened in 1996. This place was older than Jack. It's the ESPN Club Boardwalk. It is permanently closed. It was closed, I think, for most of the pandemic time, and it is going to be a new table service restaurant and bakery called the Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers. Do we know who Gwendolyn Rogers is?
I have no clue. I can look it up while you keep talking about it, but
yeah. So it has two existing locations already. Indianapolis has both locations, so they're going to be bringing it. I don't know if this is really a restaurant, unless if it's like Cheesecake Factory. I mean, the pictures I'm seeing of the literally like glass containers holding cakes everywhere. It almost looks like wedding cake type stuff. I'm not sure how excited I am for this. Like, one thing I liked about ESPN Club is while you could go there and catch a game, like I've caught, my time, but it also just had like normal, like regular everyday food that you could eat. And I'm hoping this place has something like that. Be a little disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like a franchise that's been started for a while. But I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look like it's going to be that sort of casual dining.
Probably not
if
cheap.
I had to take a guess. Yeah, probably not. If just based off of the website that I'm looking at, it doesn't look like it. But hey, Viggo Mortensen apparently really likes it. And if Aragorn likes it, I think that's a good enough indication that it'll be fine.
I'm trying to find a menu for it right now.
Yeah, I haven't found that yet. I've found the story of it.
On their website, they have a menu. Okay, so they have sandwiches, salads, or as they have salades. That's how they spell it or whatever.
Oh, it's French. I see. Okay.
And soup with an E at the end.
Yep. So it's all
I'm
it's all
over
in
this.
French.
I'm
yeah.
so over this. I'll tell you that much. This is just
This is expensive. What?
This is pretentiousness. Yeah, these salads are $16 to $18. The sandwiches are $18 to $19.
Soup they're charging $12 for buttered noodles on the kids menu. That's
soup is $9 or $15. I don't, unless there's like a half one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, this does I
A
might go there
grilled
for the
cheese,
cake, you know.
a peanut butter and jam sandwich is $12. Not just the butter, but every sandwich, grilled cheese, peanut butter and jelly, ham sandwich, turkey sandwich are $12 to $13 for the
It
kid.
even has the crust removed on it. Like that's
You
a
know what
lot
that
of the
means? They're giving you an
that's
uncrustable.
yeah, exactly.
Charging
Yeah.
$12.
You can buy like a pack of 50 Uncrustables from Sam's Club for $12. So I don't know.
Oh, this is good.
The
Like,
cake sounds good. Cake sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'll say that. And
You know what?
but
They even have different. They have a different menu at their other location.
oh, so maybe it'll be different.
Chicken piccata is $26. Crab cakes are $48 for 2 crab cakes.
Two. Oh,
Get
no.
out of here.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a bit. I don't think I'll be trying that. Mostly because it's out of my price range.
And they do have a burger and fries. Hold up.
Okay.
Speaking my language a little bit more here at this location. But how much is it? I don't. Oh, classic burger with pommes frites, $21.
Pommes frites. $21.
$21. It looks
No,
like a
that's still
small
more
burger.
expensive than Disney standards. Yeah.
It looks like a very like I don't know, like one you grill yourself. Yeah, that's disappointing. The Disney Adventure Friends Cavalcade is reducing their operations because the Festival of Fantasy Parade is back. And Logan sent me this picture, like this poster that they were giving out to some of the cast members in Magic Kingdom or whatever for like, hey, it's back. Looked pretty cool. I was like, you got to hang that up. But it looks like there shows a day for Festival of Fantasy, so pretty good. Excited for that. Now, here's something that Jack is very excited about. Disney Vacation Club has announced proposed plans to develop a new Disney Vacation Club villas at Disney Polynesian Village Resort. It's going to be built on the site of the former Spirit of Aloha dinner show at the Luau Cove with the planned opening of 2024. What's your thoughts on this?
I think it looks really nice. I really like how it looks. It adds a lot more rooms to Polynesian as well, so more people can stay there. Polynesian is one of my favorite resorts. You know, in the intro episode we did, I talked about how it was probably my top 3, and it really looks nice. I like how it has like a subtle sort of Polynesian architecture while also being modern at the same time. In that way, it feels like it almost mixes, some of what I really like about the contemporary in with the Polynesian. And I really like it. Like the roof design as well in the center building. I especially like that little detailing. And then all of the palm trees and and it looks like a little bit of a waterfall over on the left there. Looks pretty nice. I'm looking forward to how it looks. Polynesian has been getting a lot of revisions, a lot of construction on it lately, and I'm glad they're giving that resort some love.
I think it looks okay. I mean, I think we were just talking about it off air. It looks a little too modern for me. What I like about Poly is that how it kind of looks, it doesn't look like Polynesian to me. It looks very Alani type style, like where they're kind of all going. Or what's the new one? Riviera?
Yeah.
Looks a lot like that too. If you're watching the video, we have the picture up of it here. But if you the audio, we recommend checking that out. We got like 2 pieces of news left before we get into our topics here, but they shared start of the soon-to-open Connections Cafe at Epcot, which I guess is going to be around the area of where Electric Umbrella was. and it looks all right. I mean, it looks like a quick service place. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really know. Do you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, I will say the murals on the side do look
Yeah.
really pretty. Uh, you know, although I will say the idea of like the connections feels like it was meant to go along with the proposed revisions to Spaceship Earth, the ones that were announced in like 2019, right? Where they were like, we're going to talk about the spark of communication and follow that along on the journey. It feels very much like it was supposed to be with that and continuing that sort of theming, but it does look very nice. I'm intrigued to see like this circular thing over the like on the right side of the picture uh with a bunch of like colored jars, it looks like, in there. I'm intrigued what that's about, what it's
I
supposed to
think it's
represent.
Starbucks. It says it's been confirmed
Is
that
it?
new Starbucks is going to be located in here, which means this place is going to be a madhouse.
Oh
Forget
god.
about it.
Yeah, no, that you're not going to be able to walk through that. I remember going to Disneyland last summer, and the longest line we waited in was for
With
Starbucks. It took an hour to get through that, and I don't even like Starbucks, but everyone else
I don't like
wanted
coffee.
Starbucks.
I'm very
I don't
thankful.
drink coffee either, so
I'm very thankful I don't.
yeah,
The
expensive
times I
habit.
usually have to stand in line for these is when because my wife drinks coffee, and if she usually gets a migraine. Sleep well, she suffers from migraines. Um, so yes, unfortunately, I've had to stand in lines for this, but other than that, I usually don't have to because I'm usually not affected. I don't usually I don't need anything to wake me up. Usually, my contacts wake me up because the solution eyes when I'm putting them in, and it's like a whoa, and then I'm fine. Yesterday I had my glasses on until like 11 a.m. No, not yesterday. Today, I guess today I had my glasses on until like 10 or 11 a.m. and then I put my contacts in, and I was like, "Whoa!" Now I'm fully awake. Like I still felt like it was still very early, but yeah, I don't need it. I'm hoping we can actually eat in here
Well,
without too much problem.
I will say in the second piece of concept art on this, it looks like there is a lot of space open to eat
Yeah,
in and all of that. So hopefully it will be like two different sides maybe of the restaurant. You have like the area where Starbucks in, and then whatever this quick service is going to be. Uh, I'm intrigued because, and you know what? I think you're going to be fine with it, because if you look in the second concept art picture on the very right hand side, it looks like there's a family with a platter of burger and fries there. So it looks like it's going to be a similar menu to Electric Umbrella, perhaps.
I hope so. We need more of that stuff in. I know they've been getting kind of wild with the food lately.
I
With
like
some
it.
stuff.
I like the wild food
Well,
sometimes.
it can be fine. My issue is I feel like you still have to have one place that has just like American style food, and right now Epcot doesn't have like that Americana, I guess you would say.
See, but they
Except for
have the barbecue place, and I love that.
refreshment port is like the only place that is like that right now. And it's not even a place like not last time I was down there, but the other time I was down there before that, I had to walk with my food in my hand from refreshment port over to Odyssey, between Mexico and the port of entry,
Yep.
to eat in there because it was just there was nowhere to sit down around there, because Epcot has a problem right now. And the problem is that it's a festival park now, 365 of the year. Festival of the Arts goes right into pretty much Flower and Garden, which then goes pretty much right into Food and Wine, which then goes right into like Christmas time, and then back to Festival of the Arts. The issue with that is when you have all those pop-up stands all the time, congregating around them all the time. So like the other day, like the last time I was there, I had to sit at stand at one of those circular tables and just kind of like eat my chicken nuggets from there because there was nowhere else to go. Any place that has a bench, any place that has like a table that you can sit at is completely full because people are, drinking around the world or eating around the world. And I get why Epcot does it. It's because it makes them a boatload of money, especially right now while they don't even have actual attractions to ride at this point. I mean,
yep.
We're still waiting for some of these to open. But it's just kind of like a sad state for me of how I remember Epcot at times because I enjoyed Festival of the Arts, but I feel like maybe that should focus more on the actual arts then and not so much of, well, we have a pavilion here that has some overpriced weird food item that, is like, just if I wanted to try, it was like a deconstructed thing. I was like, what? So they just take a sandwich and break it apart for you? Like, that's lame.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I like the festivals though at Epcot.
Put the burger together and then just be like, there you go, it's deconstructed.
I will admit the deconstructed trend of foods is not one that I'm fond of because it's lazy, in my opinion. They're just like, we don't really want to spend the extra 5 seconds it takes to assemble this. Yeah. So here you go. You do it. And I'm not a huge fan of that, but I am a huge fan of the festivals around Epcot. I'm a huge fan of it. I love walking around there and trying different stuff. I didn't used to when I was a kid, right?
I think they need to have gaps. I think they do need to have gaps.
That's
bigger
fair.
Gaps. If you, sorry, I cut you off. You want to keep going.
No, I was just gonna say when I was picky and like I would have been I wouldn't have been happy with the current state of it, but now trying more stuff that's so much more appealing to me. So it's very nice for me. I think it matches well with kind of my journey with food, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I am excited to go there in August for the first time in like 3 years for Epcot. Yeah. I'm very excited to go there. Maybe some of that construction will be done as well.
That was my first time at Festival of the Arts. I did really like that one. I do like Flower and Garden too. I'm actually not a big food and wine guy because literally like that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Right? It's food and wine. With the Flower and Garden, I like looking at all of the flower arrangements, and then I like looking at, in this art and Festival of the Arts, I got to see a lot of cool artwork. That was too expensive for me to buy, unfortunately. All right. I mean, even their smaller pieces that are like reprints of stuff was really expensive. Speaking of Epcot, so there was, we talked about it on this show, I think, before everything shut down when my sister was on the show. But United Kingdom was supposed to have an expansion in the pavilion for Mary Poppins. It was paused in 2020 due to COVID. And Bob Chapek said in his, I guess, whatever, what's the thing called? Shareholder meeting?
Shareholders meeting, yep.
Somebody asked him about it, and he said that the project is currently in a holding pattern and looks forward to refunding the Mary Poppins ride in the future. So take of that what you will. But I assume that means the same thing for that Avengers e-ticket that was supposed to be over in California.
Yeah, I will say it makes sense, and the rationale for it does kind of make sense, as much as I don't want to admit that it does. But he talked in that same statement about, being wary of cash flow heavy attractions and experiences, because to build that sort of thing, it's going to take a lot of cash flow at once, and it hasn't been started yet. So it does make sense to kind of put it on hold, especially while you're doing everything else to Epcot, right? Like, why add in more construction now when already so much of it is under construction? And for Avengers Campus, at least, you know, it makes sense to hold off on it because people are enjoying the Spider-Man ride. They're enjoying the campus in general. So putting up a construction barrier right in the middle of it feels like maybe not the best idea. So like giving people maybe a bit more time to experience that world and then build it in. And also Disney are kind of thinking, I'm sure we could make more money off of this because if people have to go on 2 separate trips to see all of it, then there you go, more money.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it too, right? Is that, let's say if you had both attractions open on opening day, they'd probably be like, well, this one's clearly the better one, or this one's like, if they, like, here's the thing related to Galaxy's Edge is that I feel like Galaxy's Edge was like a better, like when Millennium Falcon opened, people were like, oh my god, that ride's amazing, right? But if you had Rise open at the same time, people would have been like, just go on Rise Millennium Falcon.
Right. Yeah. Comparatively.
Yeah. So I assume maybe the same thing would be for Spider-Man. If the Avengers ride was better, they'd be like, you know what? If I can't get on Spider-Man, the Avengers ride or whatever. But now you can kind of have the hype of everybody like, oh my god, Spider-Man's awesome. And then getting 5 years from now, oh my god, the Avengers ride's open now. We got to go again.
Yeah.
So I hope that they do continue to actually make it. I do worry, especially when it comes to Chapek, that maybe this won't ever come to fruition.
What?
Because
really?
God forbid,
you don't think
God
so?
forbid
What?
$1 billion company spends some money on actually building stuff.
What? But Bob Chapek is so known for spending large amounts of money to open diverse and exciting new experiences, and he doesn't care only about the profit line at all. That's so out of sync for everything we know about him.
The only good thing Chapek has done is the only good thing he has done is the fact that apparently between him and Iger, he wanted to actually have mature content on Disney Plus while Iger did not. And that was part of the infighting with that. Once Chapek took over and Iger was still in his creative consultant role. Other than that, I know people will say, well, Chapek, they've spent billions of dollars under him at the parks when he was under parks and all that stuff. But come on, if you look at what Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be and is not, as much as I love Galaxy's Edge, you know, some of the stuff that, as we'll get into it with Starcruiser, was supposed to be in Galaxy's Edge and is not, and now you have to pay $6,000 to get in there and experience that. That's the kind of stuff that rubs you the wrong way. And then not just, people can go ahead and say, well, he spent all this money. All right, fine, he spent all this money. But how about before parking, when I worked there less than 10 years ago, like 7 years ago, it was like $13, $14 a car. It's now like $24 a car for a day in Magic Kingdom.
Jeez, yeah.
The used to be able to have your car at a resort without paying. Well, now they added a fee for having a car at the resort.
Right, yeah.
Nightly fee. Taking free fast passes to now Genie Plus, which is what we're going to be getting into in just a second here. It's the constant yearly increases to park tickets. They just revamped the annual passes, and guess what they got rid of for our level but raised the price? They raised the price but still get rid of some of the perks, like, well, now you don't have memory make. So now I'd have to spend an extra $100 when you already increased my price by $100 or $200. No, thank you. Oh, now I
Yeah.
have to pay extra $15 to ride some of the rides I want to ride, or just $15 alone for me to get on Rise of the Resistance. Like, add up a family of 4 who wants to ride Rise of the Resistance, $15 a pop or $12 a pop, and you're looking at like what, close to $50 for a
60.
family of 4 or 5, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if my family, when we went to Hollywood Studios in January, if we were going to pay for that, that would have been $75.
and let's say you're not
On
just
top,
doing the Lightning Lane. Let's say you had to do
Mhm.
Genie Plus because you also wanted to ride some of the other rides, and that's the only option now if you don't want to wait in
Yeah, I
line
mean,
for 2 hours.
we paid $28 for 4 out of the 5 of us to go on Space Mountain because the line was like 95 minutes long. Like we weren't going to wait 95 minutes for Space Mountain, especially if not everyone wanted to ride it, right? So
And do you know
uh,
why the line is that long?
because no one's getting fast passes anymore, so everyone's in the standby line.
Even when fast passes, the lines were long, and the reason is because they're told at merge. So, I have friends who've done attractions, right?
Mhm.
So merge is where they merge usually fast pass people in the standby line. To a certain point where they merge.
Right.
Like at Haunted
Right.
Mansion, it was right before you go in the door. That's merge. I've stood at Haunted Mansion, but when it was fast passes, when it was free, and I didn't have a problem with it then. But, I'm standing in line, standby line, and they're like this, hold up. And then they just wave on like fast pass people, right? And then they take 4 standby, and then they go another 30 fast pass. It's the same thing now with the Lightning Lane, but instead it's the people that can afford it that are going to go ahead of you instead of just people that happen to book it 60 days out. And when
Right.
we had fast passes because of COVID, the lines were short. It wasn't just because Dave went down there in September, or was it September of 2020 or sometime early last year? But before they started Genie Plus, and he rode Rise of the Resistance 3 times in a day. Once when the park opened, and it was a 45 to an hour minute wait. 45 to an hour minute. 45 to 60 minute wait. And then the other times, I think that was like 40 minutes midday, and near the closed 20-minute wait for Rise of the Resistance. And now
Jeez.
the Lightning Lane line, when I was there, because the ride was down all day because it can't ever stay open, stretched from where they let you in all the way down to the shops is where this Lightning Lane line, and it wasn't just a straight line. It was zigzagging, doing all that stuff. That was just Lightning Lane. Now imagine if you were in standby line, you're never getting on that ride.
Yeah.
It's going to break down again, or you're going to end up, I don't know. It's just get rid of that stuff and just let us wait in regular standby line. Give nobody priority except for handicapped people that need it. That need the transfer, that need the ECV transfer, the wheelchair transfer, or they have a disability where they can't stand in line. That's fine. Take them first and let us just wait in line. And I guarantee it'll be a lot smoother because you're not going to get stopped at a spot where they're going to be like taking 30 or 40 Lightning Lane people and then taking 5 standby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think like, I was going through cleaning out my wallet actually the other day, and I found a relic of the past in that I found fast passes, like the physical paper fast passes.
Paper ones.
Yeah. From
Were you alive when those happened?
Yes, I was, because I remember I got stopped by a cast member in the parks when I was 12 because I was running ahead in Hollywood Studios to get Toy Story Mania fast passes.
That's what I used to do too. They'd send the kids, right? And I have all 4 passes, and I'm going in there like sticking them in.
Yep.
That's great.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had some paper ones from Mission Breakout in California Adventure. So I have those from 2019, and I was looking at that and I was like, man, used to be so much better. You could just go up to the machine, you put in the ticket, and you got a pass. And it just made sense, give people an hour to go back for it. And it was a smooth system. Like
and that
I
worked
don't
well because you couldn't have people. Some people, what they would do is like book a hotel just to get the 60 days, get a fast pass, and then if they cancel it, then the fast passes would open up later. But like people would sometimes just like even when you had the 60 days out, I actually liked it better than what they have now because I don't have to wake up at 7 a.m. to roll out of bed or 6 a.m. to get ready to just buy Lightning Lane. And then guess what? They're sold out as soon as I try to get it.
right.
And with the paper one, at least you had to go to the ride. You had to put your ticket in. There was no funny business.
Yeah.
There couldn't really be any funny business. You'd have to somehow have another pass to be able to get more than one. Just put like 5 people on the thing and have annual passes and be like, give us all your tickets. Like there was no way you could like squat on them or anything.
Right. I really liked that system. I was fine with the the Magic Band system as well, where you could book 3 of them in advance, like 60 days out. I was fine with that as well. I was pretty fine with it, but still,
why I like that too is
Mhm.
because I can plan around it, right? Like, let's say I'm able to get Pandora for Tuesday, but I couldn't get it for Monday. Okay, well now Tuesday's Animal Kingdom Day. Screw it.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't do that here. It's like that day I'm in the park, I'm like, well, I have only 4 more days. I'm not going to come back here. So now I can't do Pandora or wait in a 3-hour
Right.
line. And just a mess. So for people that don't know, the way that it worked for me, and I'll let you say you're because you went too, but when I went to Hollywood, it was badly scheduled in the sense of it was the day that we were landing. Okay. So we left on a 6 a.m. flight or so. So we're up at 4 something. Left at 9. Take an Uber from the airport to the resort. That's 10 a.m. now. We change. We give them our luggage to hold. We move on. Get to the park around almost 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I think it was. Immediately eat lunch. But guess what? We could not book at 7 a.m. because one of our, and this is where my experience is thrown off completely. We cannot book it at 7 because one of our people were not on the room. Because they were originally not going to stay with us. So one of our people could not, so we had to wait until 10. Guess what sold out before even 10 o'clock? Rise of the Resistance. Then, anyway, it wouldn't have mattered. It broke down for hours. And then at another point, Falcon broke down hours. So at one point, Galaxy's Edge was nothing. There was nothing going on there. So I rode Star Tours a few times and still got my Star Wars fix. And I know they're supposed to remove that at some point. I hope they don't. Just keep it up.
It's a classic attraction. Come on. You got to keep it.
George had input on it. Leave it alone. So at that point, that was it. Now, I kind of was Mr. here. Okay, I'll say it. And I had told my wife and her beforehand, I want no part of Genie Plus. I do not want to pay for it. Do not want to do it. So I think we still had to because I think they still bought it for me, but I only used it for Star Tours, I think, and Midway Mania. I think those were the only 2. Oh, Slinky, I guess.
Yeah.
Those 3 rides are what I used. They rode like Tower with it, I think. They rode a few other rides. I waited in line for Runaway Railway. I said, screw it. I'm just going to stand in line. And it was 50-minute wait, and it was like 40 minutes. It was fine. And I did Star Tours like 2 or 3 times. And I walked around Hollywood. That was like all I did. Slinky, Midway Mania, which I said I could take it or leave it, honestly.
Mhm.
And then I've done all these a million times, like, yeah, for me, I'm like, okay, that's why I wanted to do Railway so bad, was because I've only been there, I think, once since it opened. And I rode it, I think, 3 times that trip. But this trip, I was like, I just need to make sure I get on. They were off doing like Hollywood Tower of Terror and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to stand in line by myself. I'm going to ride this thing, going to have a good time, and I'm going to get out of here. So that was me on that night. So her and her loved Genie Plus in the sense of we got to do everything. They got to do every single ride they do except Rise of the Resistance. I think Falcon we may have used it for too, actually, but by the time we used it, it was walk on, so it was not really using it in the sense of like it wasn't worth it in that. But we went to Oga's, which is one of my favorite places to go, so that was fine. So yeah, that was kind of like my journey through the first day of it, and they kept saying, "Oh my god, that was so much worth it," and I was like, for me, no. Like Hollywood wasn't even that crowded, right? Like for me, I don't even think Hollywood was that crowded that day. Without Genie Plus at all, you're still knocking out all these rides and no problem. There's barely anything in that park. So that was kind of the problem. And like I said, we had all of Galaxy's Edge closed at a point that I was like, this day's a disaster. Now, I had fun because I just walked around myself. I got myself a pretzel. I did whatever I wanted to do. But that was day one. And I was like, never are we doing, if we're ever doing Genie Plus again, never on are we going to Hollywood day one when we're landing. That's a no. And now that we don't have annual passes anymore, I'm thinking if I was to go down there right now, day one is Disney Springs Day. I'm just going to Disney Springs in the hotel because I'm not wasting a day on like a half a day. So then I would be able to start like Monday or whatever. That was a Saturday. I'd be able to start on Sunday then as a full day. Sunday we went to Magic Kingdom. And I think they wanted to do Lightning Lane and Genie Plus that day too. And I think they did. I again just kind of did whatever I wanted to. I was not really interested in it. I did Pirates, which again, and here's how you can tell how the trip is going, right? And it again, Magic Kingdom didn't seem busy. It's Super Bowl Sunday, the day I'm there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It didn't seem super busy. The sense of I've seen busy. All right, I've worked on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day there, where they have 100 people in the park. This had to be not like empty. I've seen empty too. I worked there in September back in 2013, and there was days where if it rained, I got early released, and I was able to just walk around and do whatever I wanted because the secret is if it rains, a lot of people go back to the hotel room. If you stick around, you have free reign to do anything that is not outside, right?
Oh, yeah, you always stick around in the rain, yeah.
Yes. So, and there was one time actually when I went to meet characters in 2015, it started raining and I was going to Magic Kingdom. I'm going to meet characters inside because everybody's gone. So the second day we're at Magic Kingdom and I didn't think it was worth it. They, because then how's it work? You pay $15 and you can do one ride of every single thing in the $15 tier, right? And then lightning lanes are separate charges.
Yeah, you can get one like immediately at the start of the day, right?
Yes.
And then you can get one
later, right?
Yep, 2 hours there after you use it, I believe. It's a 2-hour wait or something like that. Or no, it's not. It's just
2 hours after you book it. Yeah,
yes,
because she was booking them before she booked like 2 things before we even got to the park on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to Space Mountain is the extra charge now.
Right.
And again, that line is insane. And also, this was cheerleader weekend or whatever. All the cheerleaders were there. Busy, but it wasn't like busy enough where you're like, I need like back to my point, how you can tell how the trip's going. Pirates was like 50, 60, 75-minute wait throughout the day.
Okay.
And it's just that amount. Should never be that amount. That is a ride that is constantly moving. That tells you right there that they're just letting Lightning Lane people in or Genie Plus people in way faster than they are the regular people. I forget where Merge is there. It's like actually inside the building. So like the most of the line seemed to be outside the building. It was brutal. It was
the
bad.
Merge there is pretty close to actually getting onto the boat. Like it's almost actually it might be literally right at the boat.
You know where it is? It's where they split you up if you're going left or right.
Right.
If you're boarding on the left-hand side or if you're boarding on the other side. That's where the Merge is.
Right.
I just remembered.
Very
because
close.
I stopped
though,
and was trying to tell her how many people I have, and she was like, "Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going." Like, I'm going. So that line was insane, but we were in and out of there. So I guess if you want to say that was worth it, it was worth it. But again, I'm looking at it as the like. I can wait 50 minutes for Pirates. I really can. It's my favorite ride. So I will do it. But it should never be that long to begin with.
Yeah.
So that was like the first thing we rode was Pirates that day.
Mm-hmm.
No, Peter Pan. We did Peter Pan, which we had to use that on because, Peter Pan's always an insane wait as it is anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it has like a really low load capacity despite being like a constantly moving thing. You can fit
like two people in a boat.
And how many of them are there even on that? Like 40? 40 boats maybe? So it's like there's a reason why it's always long, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we did that ride, then we did Pirates, and then it was just, for me, I didn't do much else, actually. We did Filler Magic, which was great because they added Coco. They added Coco in there. So that was fun. And I'm glad they added something and not just replaced another musical number. Like, that's fine. Now add Encanto in there. Let's get that going.
Yep, exactly.
But so we did that ride or that show, and that I don't think we used the Genie Plus thing. I think it was just walk on. I mean, it's a 5-minute wait for that anyway. And then we had Magic Kingdom. I don't know. We couldn't do Mine Train because I think that's something you had to book ahead, and it was sold out. We couldn't do Splash. I think it was just down or for
refurbishment. Yeah. It was getting refurbished.
Thunder we had scheduled, but I said I'm not doing it because that ride, the more I get older, the more I am that ride really, like, I feel like I can't fit into it. Not like a fat thing, but like it seems like it only comes up to like my thighs, like the bar, and I'm like,
oh no, I have that too. Yeah.
And then you're like sliding around, and sometimes I get headaches from that. So I was like, okay, we're not doing that today. And that day I actually had a headache, so that kind of ruled out Space and that Thunder for me anyway. I actually left early. I left early to go back to the room to watch the Super Bowl anyway, because I was like, I really wanted to take this trip to be just whatever. Like, I've lived there, I've worked there, I go there every year, twice a year sometimes. I'm just going to relax. I had a headache, so I left early. So I don't think I really did much. I think I did Filler Magic, Pirates. We couldn't mention. We had lunch at Tony's, which is when my headache really started, was around lunch at Tony's. And we had what else did I ride that day? We didn't do Carousel Progress because one of her friends doesn't like it.
Carousel
plane.
Progress is awesome.
I know it's my mom's favorite.
And also, if you don't like it, you can just like take a nap in air conditioning.
You could just not go in it. Too. You could just go do something else.
Or if you go in it, it's air conditioned and you can just take a nap, right? Like
that's another rough thing. Going with 4 people that all have wildly different plans and what they want to do can be very complicated.
I'd imagine, yeah.
I think that may have been all I did, actually, were those things. I did not do... They did that afterwards. I think they may have used Genie Plus for that. I was gone at that point. I walked over and got this great Kingdom Hearts Magic Band and phone case. Boom.
Yep.
And I walked over to Chicken Guy, watching the Super Bowl on my phone. Some Chicken Guy, took it back to the resort hotel room. So with a headache, I was starting to feel a little better at this point, but with a headache, walked from Chicken Guy to Saratoga. No bus, no boat, anything like that. Just walking straight back and forth. Felt like I got a lot of steps in and felt great. And watched like the whole second half in the hotel room. I was really liking just kind of being alone and doing my own thing. Day 3 was at Epcot, and I don't think we didn't use it that day. We didn't use Genie Plus that day because it was a day that my wife was really just interested in eating around the world. And I think they started off with like soaring or living with the land, and I went to get her coffee. I was like, I don't need to do these rides. I just need to do 3 Caballeros and Ratatouille. Like, that's all I want to do. Oh, they didn't do Genie Plus. They did Lightning Lane for Ratatouille, and they did it as a surprise for their friend who wasn't on the room. So they had to wait until later, but I was like, don't wait until later. Just book it. Give her my Magic Band or whatever. I don't need to do it. I already did it. Like, I've done it in Paris. But then we were like, well, it was open till 11 p.m. because we were at Saratoga. So they were like, we'll just ride it again later, too. But then guess what? Ratatouille breaks down right when it's their time to ride it with her anyway. So she had to ride it alone. It was,
of course.
Really bad trip when it comes to like the technical side of rides breaking down. But other than that, we did not. We rode. They rode Fig. I was like, I can skip it. You guys go do it. I forget what I did. I think I ate lunch or something. I think I went to Refreshment Port, got my chicken nuggets then or something. And then we went to the Figment buckets were back out, and
okay.
You can order them on the app now. You could order them on the app. That was so much easier. I didn't get one, but one of her friends did, and it was easier. So yeah, and that was pretty much Epcot that day. We walked over to Beaches and Cream at the Beach Club. And we used it. Oh, day 4 was Animal Kingdom. We did not use it that day either because my wife was actually not feeling well. I went by myself there, rode Dinosaur, and literally walked back out.
You knew what you wanted.
I walked in, rode Dinosaur, walked right back out. I walked a little bit around Dino Land because it was my old habitat, but yeah, walked right in, walked right out. For me, it was a successful trip. I did most of the things I wanted to do. Unfortunately, Rise was down, couldn't do it. But for me, I look at it and I say, I didn't want to do Genie Plus because I was like, I don't want to give them more money and show that it's working, that shows Genie Plus is working. I didn't want to do that. So I was really Mr. Stubborn. And I think it drove my wife a little crazy in that regard. But for me, it's not worth it because I've already done it all. Maybe it's worth it if it's your first time because literally you would have to wait in line for probably too long for some of this stuff. And that's where I kind of come out on it at. If it's a ride I really want to wait for, I'll wait for it. But it just seems, it's literally the same thing as Fast Pass, which is more money, and I don't like that. What was your experiences like?
Yeah, well, I will say that as much as I don't want to say this, it was fine. Like, it was fine. Is it what I prefer to happen with fast passes? Absolutely not. I one of the things that I always would say, like, I had a friend who really liked Universal and was not as big of a fan of Disney World, right? And I would say, oh, well, at Universal, you have to pay for all the fast passes and everything.
That's what I used to tell people too. I'd be like,
yeah,
that's why Disney's so much better, guys. And now,
yeah, and now you have to pay for them anyway. And I feel like that's like a big reason why I don't like the change. But I will say it was pretty smooth for how it worked out. It worked fine. We originally went to Vero Beach, right? Stayed there for 3 days, and then we left very early in the morning, like I think 5:30 a.m. so we could get to Magic Kingdom right as it opened, right? So we do that, get to Magic Kingdom. Was it? Wait. Yes, we did do Magic Kingdom first day. Okay. I'm making sure I'm remembering this right. And we used the Lightning Lane for a few rides on there. I think we used it on Big Thunder. That one we definitely used it for. We waited in line for Haunted Mansion. Went through Philhar Magic. I'm blanking on. Waited for Pirates. We didn't do Lightning Lane for Pirates. I'm doing this entirely out of order because I don't remember enough of the actual order. But we waited in line for Seven Dwarves, which I will say was worth it. Because instead of paying what is that one, $12? I think I feel like it's over $10 for that one, but $12. So we saved $60 on that essentially. The wait said 2 hours long. We waited in it 50 minutes. We also actually saw a Karen have a meltdown in front of us. She had like she was in front and she was going to let her entire party of 9 other people cut through and just wait for them, like right as you're about to get into the ride, right? They weren't even going to cut through, and they're like, you can't just wait here because this is like the loading platform. She's like, but they're waiting in the line. And she's like, well, go back and wait with them. And so I don't know what happened to her, but she may have gotten removed from the line. Wouldn't blame the workers in the slightest for it, because she was being very obnoxious. But we did pay for the Space Mountain ones, just because my mom doesn't like it. And we were like, well, everyone else wants to go on it, but we don't want her to like have to wait a super long time, right? For all of us to go on it. So we did that. I feel like we didn't use Lightning Lane as much for that. We did use it for Jungle Cruise later in the day. We went on it like as one of the last ones, so we saw it at night, which was both cool and underwhelming at the same time, I think is the best way to describe it, because you can't see as much of the stuff that's happening during it. But yeah, we really didn't use much for Lightning Lane that day, but at Hollywood Studios for us, it was worth it on that day. We got there at Rope Drop. We stayed at a Skyliner resort, and so we Skylinered in, and then we went straight on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway right when it opened. So we rope dropped that. And then we went to Galaxy's Edge because I think that opens an hour after the park itself.
Does it really?
That's what it appeared like, because we went there straight after getting off Runaway Railway, and the line for Rise of the Resistance was 40 minutes. So pretty good start already there. We have fast passes for Slinky Dog. Right as we walk up to it, it breaks down. And so we're like, okay, we'll go on the alien saucers in that time. And we do that. And right as we get on that, we see Slinky Dogs back up. So we go up, go on that. That one with Lightning Lane took 10 minutes to get through, 5-10 minutes maybe. And then we get the lightning lane for Toy Story Mania, which also breaks down. So we have to wait a little bit longer for that. Toy Story Land was not having a good day, to say the least.
It's kind of like my experience
yeah.
with the Star Wars.
Actually, now that I think about it, Hollywood Studios in general wasn't having a good day because we went to Tower of Terror to wait in line because it was a 50-minute wait, it said. It broke down as well. So we had made it like, we were like almost inside the lobby. You know how like there's that little plaza right before you get into the lobby? We were right there, and we were like, we've already waited 50 minutes, so we're not going to get out of line, and just waited an extra 30 for it, which was fine, I guess. Tower of Terror isn't my favorite ride or anything, but still, it was.
It's my first time. It was my wife's first time riding it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's definitely worth waiting in for that.
So she really like. I don't think she like. She said she was really scared. She doesn't know if she'll ride it again. I said, well, you'd have to at least ride it again in California for the other one.
For Guardians.
But I did not ride it. I'm not a tower guy. I feel like I'm gonna die on it every time. So I did not ride that one.
The Guardians one is a little bit better. I think it's smoother, honestly.
You probably know when it's going to drop too, right?
Yeah. It matches up more with like a story.
Because I don't like Tower, but I like Doom's Tower over at because Universal. You go up and then you kind of just know when you're going up. Like they count it down and everything. Like it's a totally different thing than like I remember the last time I rode Tower, you're just kind of like rolling and you're like thinking, okay, maybe it's going to drop now, and then it does, and but you're in pitch black and it's kind of hard to like know when it's happening.
Yeah. So we used another lightning lane for the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular because my brother, who I've got to say, he did like all of the research for Genie Plus before we went. So big props to him for doing that because he really managed everything really well. And so he was like, okay, we need to get it for this because, him and I were both big Indiana Jones fans. So we knew we had to see the stunt show. He's like, okay, they let in all the lightning lane people first for the theater. And that's what they did. And we got like really good seats over on the left side of it, like pretty close to the front. So right by like in that first scene where there's like the temple and everything, it's perfectly situated for all of that. So that was a good use of it. And it was also really worth it because I was like, everyone else in the party was kind of done for the day. They're like, we're tired. We have an 8 p.m. dinner reservation and we have to get up at 4 a.m. to go to the airport tomorrow. So we're going to go back and take a rest. And I was like, but I want to go on Star Tours. And so literally as we're walking over there, my brother texts me and he's like, hey, I got you and Dad a lightning lane pass for it, like just instantly. So that was super nice. We were able to get it almost immediately and walked pretty much straight on it. It literally no wait. And I got to be the Rebel spy for the first time. So maybe that just adds a little bit to it. But so my ultimate verdict on Genie Plus, I guess to say, is it works fine. If you're like going on a family trip and you're like, okay, we want to do as much as possible, it's probably going to be worth it for you. It probably will be. That doesn't mean I like it. So it works fine as a system, right? But it's not the ideal system, especially considering everything that's been lost with it, It used to be kind of just fun to go up to the machines and like get the tickets or like to be able to book them in advance. I remember before family trips, 60 days, we marked it on our calendar, like Fast Pass Day. We would go around like my mom's laptop and like we'd be like my siblings and I would argue over like what big attraction to do for Fast Pass on each of the days. And I miss that kind of stuff, being able to plan that. It was great. And I wish that we still had it, but unfortunately, I know Disney's trying to play it off as like, yeah, the pandemic really took a hard hit on us, and we need to recuperate profits. Do it elsewhere. you have billions of dollars. Like,
how much profit do they need? Like I said,
Exactly.
the prices go up for annual passes. It goes up for the daily tickets. It goes up for the parking. It goes up for the resort fees. It goes up for the resort parking. The food prices go up. A soda, which used to be like $2.75 when I worked there in 2015, is now $4.75 for a bottle of soda.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you don't you can I get like the parking kind of thing, because I personally would love that Disney is almost trying to encourage like public transportation, like the ones that they provide. I'm a big fan of public transportation, so I'm fine with that kind of thing. You know, the extra parking charges, fine. You know, even to an extent, like some of the hotel surcharges, because they've been updating those, right? So fine. But nothing has fundamentally changed from FastPass to Genie Plus. There's been no fundamental change. It's basically the same interface you use to select the times and everything. It's just that you do it in person now, like in the park, and you have to pay extra for it. And that just doesn't seem fair. Like other things, other upcharges, you can argue like, yeah, there's a legitimate reason to do that. Like food prices. Yes, like that can increase a little bit. The soda increasing as much as it has is a bit of a ripoff, but you know, slight increases, you know, I can see that. That's fine. That makes sense. Food prices have gone up. Fine. Parking, same, fine. Hotels, they've been updated, especially ones that have been updated, sure. But taking a system that already worked and charging so much more for it doesn't sit right. And same goes, I know this wasn't the topic, but Magical Express too. I miss the Magical Express. That was like the best part sometimes of the vacations. You know, you get in from your flight and you know, maybe you're a little bit tired, because I don't know about you, but my family always flew out early. And right away when you're at the airport, the vacation starts. You know, you get on a Disney themed bus. They play like that same video that shows off everything that my brother and sister and I had pretty much memorized everything to, right? All the words to and all the trips. And then they had cartoons playing on it as well. It was a good time, right? And I really enjoyed that kind of thing. But again, profit still came up. And you know, if they had made this change later, like you know, the light, I think it's a light rail system that they're implementing there, that goes from the Orlando airport all the way down to Miami, that'll have a stop near Disney World. Cool. Honestly, if you would cut it then, fine. You know, because there's at least another option that is like similarly affordable, gets you to a similar location, same kind of thing. But this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. What's next? Are you going to take away the TVs in the hotel, like in the hotel lobbies? You know, the peak of any first day of Disney vacation. You know, are you going to take that away now too? Very disappointing.
You know what they should actually be doing too is
What?
just giving free Disney Plus accounts in rooms that you have access to Disney Plus.
Honestly,
I know
that
most
would increase
people
profit too.
that probably go to Disney probably have Disney Plus, or children that, you know, people that have children. Imagine being able to have access to Disney Plus, which now they kind of have in the hotel rooms for some places where you can AirPlay it and stuff like that. That now. But imagine you're somebody that's skeptical of Disney Plus or doesn't, whatever. Sit in your hotel room, you sit down and you start watching Daredevil or, you know, Moon Knight or Loki, and you start watching Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, and you're like wrapped up in the show. I need a get an account when I get home so I can finish watching and stuff and all the great stuff they have in here.
Yep,
Like,
exactly.
and it's free for Disney, right? Like they just
Right,
create
right.
dummy accounts or something. I don't know. Like, it wouldn't cost them anything except for maybe the streaming bandwidth, which, let's be real, people are probably already streaming in the hotel rooms as it is on their tablets or whatever. It's not going to make a big difference. I think that's one thing they should be doing. And it's a perk. That would be a perk of staying on the resort. Oh, it was
Exactly.
back when, this is how old I am. In the area we lived in originally, we didn't have Disney Channel on our cable. So the times where we go down and watch Disney Channel is when we were on hotels because they always had Disney Channel. So that'd be kind of like the same thing. You get people be like, oh, let's go watch some Disney Plus, or, oh, Turning Red, a brand new movie is on there. Let's go back to the hotel room, guys, and watch that together. And then maybe we'll buy Disney Plus when we get home.
Yeah.
And then if you already have an account, you can just have them log into their account and continue wherever they left off, or use the dummy account or something. Like that should be fun. But like you said, I do want to shout out my wife, who did the one that did all the studying for this thing, for the Genie Plus. And without her, we would have been lost. But I think what we've gathered from this is that it's worth it if you're a first timer. It's worth it if you're going to Hollywood. But I'm not so sure it's worth it on some of these other parks. Epcot, I feel like it's the least worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the
Soaring
only
was
one maybe.
Soaring was 30-minute wait when I was there.
Yeah,
30-minute wait.
The only reason it might be worth it is if you really want to do the Ratatouille ride, right? If you want to do that, then maybe it's worth it. But either way, like right now, Epcot doesn't have a lot of big attractions. I guess also, I will say, if you have like really young children who are big into Frozen, right? If you've got that, then because I haven't checked the wait times for that, but I remember getting
there.
It wasn't long at all.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh wow, because I remember on the trip we took, like when it opened, we got there when the park opened and went straight 60-minute wait. We waited an hour for it.
Yeah, I guess you're right though with kids. For me, anything 60 or under is fine. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Really, the magic numbers, once I start seeing 70, I'm like, okay, is this worth 70?
Yeah, it all depends on like if you've got really young kids, obviously, like having them wait for 60 minutes in a line, not going to work out well. It's not going to
make
work.
My kids do it. I'm gonna make.
I mean,
I did this when I was a kid. You're gonna do it now.
I did it. So I mean, but I've seen how some kids react to that. It's not pretty sometimes. So
you know what? My kid's gonna be a Star Wars fan though, and you know about Star Wars fans, right?
Yeah.
No problem waiting in lines. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Star Wars fans will wait in line for whatever. I remember I stood in line outside of a Toys R Us in 2015 just waiting to get some Force Awakens toys. Like
that reminds me of one of my favorite YouTube clips that I've seen, which is a newscast from 1999.
Yes,
which is where there's a guy that's like in a full costume. I think it's a Darth Maul costume if I remember correctly. And the newscaster's like, You've been waiting here for like a few hours. Are you worried that the Phantom Menace might be bad? He's like, no way it's going to be bad. It's Star Wars. And I've seen an edit of it where it plays like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music over the back. And that's great. That off topic.
In his defense, Phantom Menace is pretty dope. Okay.
It's after seeing Attack of the Clones. It's definitely not the worst one.
It is my favorite prequel. It is my favorite prequel.
Mine is still Revenge of the Sith.
I know. Yeah, that's everybody's favorite prequel. I got to be different.
Okay, I see.
No, I just love the world of Phantom Menace. Like 10 years before we really get to like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. It's like a happier film. It's not like a I feel like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith are in that time where you're like, oh, everything's already ending. Yeah, it's a little happier and jovial in Phantom. Like, I mean, I've done the movie, but I enjoy it for what it is. Okay, speaking of Star Wars, Starcruiser reaction. So let's not forget, this thing costs $5,900 to $6,000 for 2 days. I've seen reports saying they're having trouble filling it. I think that's more of they just opened up new things from August, November. So obviously those are all new openings. But also, if you look at regular cruises as well, they don't really fill up like that. They fill up over time. I think it'll be fine for the first year. I really do. I think the first year people are still going to be curious. They're going to go. They're going to, if they can afford it, they're going to go. They're going to see it. My issue is repeat customers and people that want to go and can't. So I would like to go, but I'm not going in at $6,000 for 2 nights. I can't. Do you know I was pricing out stuff and it's cheaper for me to go to Japan and see Tokyo Disney.
I mean, I don't doubt it.
And that's on my bucket list. So rather do that. Or I'd actually rather take I guess a real cruise. Yeah,
I think I'm not the one who handles the finances for this, but I have a feeling that the Disney cruise that my family's going on this summer is probably cheaper than Galactic Starcruiser, which I get the appeal of it, and people who have gone have liked it. There's been some people who have gone and liked it. It seems like if you're really willing to get into it and like interact with things, then you're really going to have a good time. The question is it really worth that price tag? I don't think so. I don't think I can really justify that. I've priced out because, I'm a college student with little money, that I've priced it out to do a 4-day Disney vacation for under $1,000. I figured out how to do that. And so theoretically then I could do a 24-day vacation. I could stay in Disney for a month for the same price it would cost me to do 2 days at Galactic Starcruiser. And it's also worse when you consider that a lot of the stuff on there was just supposed to be in Galaxy's Edge and was supposed to be part of that experience. And, it's just a constant theme from Disney lately of locking stuff behind paywalls. I guess that's kind of the theme of this episode, paywalls and why they suck. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing. The rooms admittedly look cool. I like the spaceport windows.
They're small though.
They are small. I do like the spaceport windows though. They do look cool. I'll give them that. But I don't know. Like you get a half a day in the park with that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
guess what?
Yeah.
If your half a day was the day that I had at you're not riding Rise.
Exactly. And then the experience is like, and then you're like, well, okay, I paid $6,000 for a hotel room that is tiny and with some interactive experiences on it. Yeah.
The food's included, right?
Well, yeah,
so
there is good. That. I think pricing it out though, like if you were to stay like, I think it's just cheaper to stay literally anywhere else for any period of time. I remember seeing someone do like a TikTok that was like trying, saying like, it's the same price as a 2-day vacation to Disney. And I was like, okay, this can't be right. I'm curious to see the math here. And she's like, so if you choose the most expensive room at Grand Floridian, and I was like, okay, yes, obviously, yes. If you choose the best room at Grand Floridian, which is $1,200 per night for 2 nights, yes, it might be more worth it. And then she's like, and then if you spend on average $250 on food per day per person, and I was like, what are you doing? There is no need to spend $250 per day per person on food. And I was and she's like, you'll see that it really is worth it. And I was like, I'm curious. I'm curious to see the bank statements to see if there was something from Bob Chapek.
This is why I do quick service, right?
I like the table service. I always
my chicken nuggets though are like $12, $10. But see, if I did that 3 times a day, I'm not spending $250.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. The only I'm struggling to think of how you even get to that. I guess if you do Space 220, because that's $75 per person.
3 dining places. You have to go to 3 sit-down dinings and eat and drink
snacks,
around Epcot.
Yeah. I guess snacks maybe. You have to buy a few sodas for $5 each. But even then, like, I don't know. Like, I don't see how exactly you justify it. If it's like if it's like a bucket list item, like you're like, I want to do this. I want to do it once, and cool, fine. All the power to you. I'm just saying from a perspective of someone who I like Star Wars, right? I'm not like a Star Wars super fan, I'd call myself necessarily, but I like it. But I'm not gonna pay that much money for it. I don't think.
I call myself a Star Wars super fan, and I said no. I am not doing this. I think my wife has even looked into it. Not that we can afford it right now, but like, well, what if we did this and what if we did that at some point? And I'm like, no, I'd rather go to Japan. I'd rather do other things than because here's the thing too. Here's my biggest complaint, and I complained about it, I think, on this show originally when they announced what this was. Like you said, you have half a day in the park. It sounds like, too, from the videos I've watched, the missions you can do in the park on your phone, right? It's just a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of running there, that I feel like, okay, I would just have to take my whole half a day to do those missions. That is the only new thing I'm getting. I've rode the rides before. I can ride the rides the next time I go into Hollywood separately from these 2 days that I'm going.
Right.
This would have to be an add-on to my vacation. The biggest complaint I have is that at some point it off. I want to turn off the immersion. I don't need immersion. Like, what have we seen this? Have you seen the story of them? In California, creating a city with houses that is going to be focused on story and all that kind of stuff. I don't need to live the story. I don't need to live that. I need to be able to unwind at some point. And the bad thing with this is I like going back to the hotel room at night and flipping on ESPN or the Disney cartoons or whatever. You can't. There's no TV because you're in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So what? I just sit in the hotel room when it's time, or am I just on the go so much that I come back and immediately knock myself out, wake up bright and early the next morning to see what dumbass mechanic needs help, and help him because he can't do it, and that kind of stuff. It looks fun. I think I would enjoy it, but then at one point I want to go back to the room and be like, all right, I'm turning it off, and now I'm relaxing. And I don't think I'd be able to. And there's things that are required to be done, like the lightsaber training. There should be no requirements. There should be no requirements. There shouldn't be the bridge is a requirement where you shoot asteroids. I don't need to play this mini game. Like, let me explore the place. Like, I saw a video where it was cool. They found this little secret passage where they were able to crawl under and get to this other place, and that's cool. I would like to be able to do that, and like all of that stuff. But when it comes to the actual, like, I shouldn't have to do lightsaber training because, one, it doesn't look great, right? It's a little beam of light that I have to try to match up perfectly. It's not like the same thing as the movie. And the thing too, the end is always the same. It's the same climax because it takes place in this one part of the line. This is where the issue with repeating visitors come in from, right? Because if I've done it once and I did all the missions in Galaxy's Edge and I did all the missions around the place and I've already seen the dinner show because I'm betting it's the same songs every time, then I see the climax. Okay, I don't ever have to go back again. Are they going to change the story at some point? They'd have to, right? They have to.
Right.
Because why else am I going there again?
Yeah.
I can't sit. There's no pool, right? I can't sit back and relax anywhere in this place because it's always going to be either the First Order getting in my face or the rebellion being like, I need help. And I just don't want to help you. I want to help myself. I want to sit down, you know? If you're really into role playing, it's probably going to be great. Like the people in Hawkeye that are the firemen that LARP are going to love this.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think I would love it for once. But again, I think at some point I'd want to be like, I'd end up having to watch something on my phone in the hotel room because of TV. Like that's the way I'd have to do it. Right. And that's sad. What I wanted when they said they were going to do a Star Wars hotel is just like regular Star Wars hotel. It's just a Star Wars hotel that I can hop in and look at. You know, like I can go to Grand Floridian. Something themed after Naboo or something. You're just walking around, beautiful palace type thing.
You know, implement it as like kind of like a Star Tours type thing, you know, build on that world, right? You could do something with that, like tie it into that. And
you can still have it be Batuu, right?
Yeah.
But here's I'm able to walk around Batuu with headphones on and my phone if I wanted to. I feel like I can't do that at the resort, right? Like it is a clash. I saw a video where they kind of talked about this kind of clash that happened when they came in to Galaxy's Edge from the hotel. The hotel, they've been living and breathing Star Wars. People dressed up as Star Wars characters. People dressed up wearing Rey stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They get into the park and you see guys wearing just regular t-shirts, browsing on their phone, and it like is this click of I'm not actually living it anymore. And you can leave that part of the park. You could probably go over to Toy Story Land, right? And that was questions originally when they announced this. I'm like, so am I not able to do? Because they would say like you're able to take a trip to Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, are they going to stop me from going to Toy Story Land? Like, what?
Imagine they just have like stormtroopers that pursue you for leaving.
No. You're getting close to the back. Curve it back in. Get back in. So that is like my biggest complaint about it. Is I can't even there and see the lobby, right? There's no way I can hop over there to do it. And I get it. They want this immersion thing. But when you're charging a cruise or a fancy cruise, you don't actually go anywhere. You don't have any other entertainment than just the dinner show, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shop looks small. The lobby looks nice. But it doesn't feel like anything that I'm like, I need to spend enough days here. You know, 2 nights and 3 days pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd love to do it just for the story, but guess what? I watched a video where they were doing a lot of those missions, and I already know how everything.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's worth me going right now.
Here's what I'll say as my final point on it. Really, if you want to be immersed in Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge, There's a much easier and cheaper way to do it, and it's called go to Best Buy, pick up a $300 Oculus Quest, and pay the $40 for the Galaxy's Edge game on there, and then pay $30 for the Vader Immortal trilogy. Because guess what? You're still going to be immersed in Galaxy's Edge, and you get to do a bunch of missions in Galaxy's Edge, and you get to do lightsaber training and all of that same kind of stuff. You get to be immersed in Star Wars, in your own in a different environment. Sure, like it's not physical infrastructure, but it's a lot cheaper. You know, it's $370 in total for all of that, versus $6,000 for it. I'd say that might just be worth it. You know, just
it's
to
a
do
better price point.
it's 6% of the cost of going to, you know, to Galactic Starcruiser. And hey, you can get the whole family involved in it. You could buy 5 headsets or 4 headsets, because I think it's $6,000 for 4 people, right? Buy 4 headsets. That's only at that $1,200. And there you go. You're experiencing a similar thing for a fraction of the cost. This podcast is not sponsored by Oculus Quest, and I am not sponsored by Oculus Quest, but it seems like fundamentally the same thing to me.
Yeah, it's look, maybe I'd sing a different tune if I went. I mean, I've seen some people who really did like it, but most of the reviews, I will say most of the reviews I've said, this is fun. It's more fun than it looks, but not worth the price. That's been every review I've seen is, this is great. I'm having fun, but not worth the price. Right. And these are people that got to see it for free.
Exactly.
That got to do the press releases, and they're saying, this was fun for free. I don't know if I pay $6,000 for it. And that's a problem. That's a problem. If they continue to have problems filling it, they're going to have to lower the prices. It cost them like $1 billion for Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if this is part of that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say for Galactic Starcruiser, and
it better not have. It doesn't look like it's worth that at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, now I know why they've delayed everything and why they're charging for fast passes, if that's the case.
Yeah. I don't know how much the hotel itself costs, but I'm assuming it's wrapped up in the price or something. You know, like accounting style type stuff. But
yeah,
ultimately, I don't know if it's worth the money, is what it seems to be. And until they can figure that out, I'm not going to be able to go. And most people are not going to be able to go. And if most people can't afford this, because, I mean, let's be honest, in this type of economy, who even has $6,000 for a 2-day trip?
Yeah.
When you can't even make over, some people can't even make over $15 an hour. It's not even really like the minimum wage at some places. So it is a problem. And Disney is consistently now pricing themselves out of a lot of people. And I think one is when your guests to leave to say that was worth it. But I think some people might feel like they have to say it was worth it. You don't spend $6,000 and be like, people be like, how was it? Oh, it was good. Good. It was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it. Yeah, I didn't waste my money. No, I did not waste $6,000. You know, nobody wants to come to terms with that.
Right. I feel like that would maybe be accompanied with a panic attack for me if I was in that. Like, how was it? I was like, it was fun, but $6,000.
I would probably wait.
Yeah. I'm guessing the price will lower. Like, I would be shocked if it doesn't get lowered within the next year. Honestly,
I cannot justify this unless if it's $2,000 or under. There's no way I could go if it's under that. And for that to happen, it's probably years from now. It's probably years and years from now. Maybe they'll come out with a different package. I think it would be cool if they gave you a one-night package. Can we do that? Maybe I don't go.
Yeah, but then it breaks the whole immersion thing of like everyone gets on together and then gets off together, you know?
Well, it's like if I got off at the Bahamas and said, I'm not getting back on, right? Let me do that.
Yeah, actually, wait, what stops you from just like going there and then just like not coming back to the hotel? Like when you go to the
Nothing.
park.
That's the thing too. The bus goes back from the hotel. The bus goes back to the hotel at like 4:30. By the way, so you can't see the night show. You literally have to go back to Hollywood a different day if you want to experience Hollywood Studios, because you're going to get there midday, probably after breakfast. It's like after breakfast you get there. I think before park opens actually is when you get there. But then they said you can book Oga's, but guess what? It's not guaranteed. You have to go to somebody and try to get Oga's reservation. So if you don't get that, then you're missing out on Oga's. It doesn't seem like there's enough perks for me to be like, I gotta nail this down and go because I'm getting access to all this stuff. They do give you Lightning Lane for the 2 rides, but if they're broken down, I mean, they said they'll get you on. They said we will get you on, but guess what? If it's broken down till 4:30,
you can't do anything.
You either got to get back on. How else do you get? No, I mean, there's no like real transportation there, is there? Like, I can't get on a Disney bus outside of Hollywood to it. I don't think.
No, I don't.
Because
I didn't see anything.
Get in it is like a 18-wheeler that is decked out on the inside to look like.
But it just looks
Star
like
Wars.
a standard truck on the outside.
Yes, yeah, kind of like Hogwarts, kind of like the Hogwarts ride,
Yeah.
where it looks like a train, and then yeah. Who knows? I wish we knew somebody that wrote it. That was in it. We could bring them on and be like, "Tell us what you thought," because it's probably more informative than just 2 people that haven't done it.
Yeah,
but I did watch like 2 videos on it. Pretty lengthy. It was on process. I read some articles about it, and literally that's the sentiment. It's too. So if you're debating it, I would probably hold off. But again, if it's something that is a must-do for you, go ahead. But I would say at this point, it probably is going to get cheaper, so I'd probably hold off.
Yeah. Might be one of the few examples of Disney reducing prices on some things. So
I hope they do. I think they might be worried about this being seen as a flop, though.
Oh, yeah, like California Adventure, and then they had to reinvest like $1 billion to make it anything like usable or like place that people wanted to go. I mean, California Adventure actually is, when you think about it, it's a very similar sort of experience. A massive global event happened before it opened that reduced the people willing to travel to the place. And then when you're there, people say that there's not necessarily enough to do all the time. And there's problems with immersion as well in both of them. So I don't know. It seems like another thing, but maybe at the end of the day, maybe this gets rid of Bob Chapek. I wish.
He's been fumbling the bag pretty hard here with the Don't Say Gay Bill stuff. If you just saw the high school cheerleaders that were chanting some racist things that had to be reviewed by Disney before they let them continue doing it. He's had some fumbles recently, and I wouldn't if Iger appointed him to this, knowing that this was going to be how it went. Yeah, pretty much like once China said stuff about COVID coming out now, and I am stepping back, and I'm going to hand the reins to Chapek here, and kind of left him in a tough spot, honestly. But it hasn't been great. Like Iger is one that came out very hard against the bill, and he's no longer the CEO. And I have no doubt about it that if he was still in charge at the time, he would have done more. I really think he would have, because he's been kind of doing more in some of those aspects. But from people that know Chapek's thinking, Chapek was like, I don't want to get involved in any sort of that political stuff, while Iger did.
Yeah, but the issue is, by not getting involved in it, you are getting involved in it.
Yes, yeah.
That's the issue. You have to make a statement on it, especially given that you operate in Florida, right? Like,
and
you
most
have
of your
to. Otherwise,
yeah,
silence is compliance, I guess you could say.
A good chunk of their workforce would, and they're the largest employer in Florida. So yeah, while Chapek's sipping margaritas in California, not too worried about it, there's people that, they are a large employer in Florida, and all that. So, but then also, like I said, Iger had some missteps as well. A lot of price increases came under him as well. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, we've kind of lost. I don't think we're ever going backward. That's what I mean. I don't think we're ever going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
I think even whoever they install next is going to be Chapek 2.0.
It reminds me of the Paul Pressler era. From everything I've read and heard about from Disney back then, cost cutting, trying to make that kind of stuff. And do you want to know where that led to? That led to California Adventure, and that didn't go that well, if you remember, because there was nothing to do in that. So
I went there the first year or two. Yeah.
Wow. Did you get to go on Superstar Limo then? Does that mean?
I may have. It was 2002 or 2003 I went.
Oh, no, that's too late. It was only in the first year.
Oh,
only
okay.
in 2001, yeah. I think it's the shortest lived Disney attraction, because it only operated for 13 months.
That's crazy.
Because of how disastrous it was.
I did not ride it then. But I do remember old school California Adventure, that's the Golden Gate Bridge entrance, and it was just literally a mash of California everywhere. It's
I went there in 2003.
And now you're in San Francisco. Now you're in LA.
I went there in 2003, but I could not tell you what it was like because I was 3 years old. I remember.
Yeah, see, at least I was 13.
I remember Bugs Land. That's what I remember, because I remember
that too, because I was still around in 2016 when I.
Yeah, I remember Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. I rode on that thing. I have pictures of me riding it.
That's funny. Yeah, well, that was a nice lengthy episode. If people want to follow us, we are on Twitter at BT Disney Podcast, Facebook.com/Behind the Dreams Podcast, Instagram at Behind the Dreams Podcast, or email us behindthedreamspodcast@gmail.com. I don't know what our next topic will be. We'll figure it out, I guess. But again, these episodes should be bi-weekly, so you'll be getting them every other week. Something exciting, I guess, is you may have seen the update on the feed that says that we it changed from 14301 Productions to Logjam Media. So that is our new name of our network, which consists to the Infinity Saga and beyond, where Jack has been on a few times, and we're recapping Moon Knight, which, if this is every 2 weeks, you already know Moon Knight's going on probably at this point. And where The Pod Awakens, which is where we talk Star Wars, Stateside Soccer Show, where Logan and I talk soccer, Extra Innings Baseball Show, where we talk baseball. Am I forgetting a podcast? Probably somewhere in there. Elseworlds, yeah, DC Fan Podcast. I just talked about it earlier. Yeah, too many shows, but they're all part of this umbrella called Logjam Media. So, nothing changes for you as a listener, just kind of a new name for what we call ourselves. Easier if you want to look us up as well. Twitter, Logjam Media is the handle. But thanks everyone for listening, and we will catch you next time where we talk something. We'll talk something. See ya.